Hello everybody, welcome to another fun tutorial. Let's talk about Sass. Sass is the most mature, stable and powerful professional grade CSS extension language in the world. Okay, what else can we see on the website? Which is saslang.com here. Make sure to include this hyphen. Alright, so let's see what Sass is. Meanwhile, I'm going to download Sass. So I want to go to install. I want to, let's see. Yes, so I'm going to use npm. So make sure you have Node.js installed in your system. Excuse me, and then let's install the Sas package. This is a global flag here, which means it can be installed in the whole system and we can access it from anywhere. So now I'm going to go here and then I'm going to open the terminal, view terminal. Then I'm in this path here. So from here, I have created this file called index.html in the folder called Sass here, and I'm going to copy paste this command npm install gsass. And then it's going to install on the npm packages, which are gonna come here. Sorry, they're not gonna come here because we have the G flag. If I didn't have this G flag, they were going to be installed in the project. So if I do this, they're gonna be installed here. You see here. And here we got node modules. And inside here, we will see Sass. Awesome. So you don't need to do the G flag. You can do whatever you want if you can install it in the local project. Anyway, so now I have it installed. The next thing is we have to do is to let's see here. We install Sass. The command line, you will be able to run the Sass executable and compile Sass and CSS files. So now I can take this command here. Sass source style sheets index CSS blah blah blah. Okay, what that means is take this path, which is this file is a CSS file, the Sass file, and convert it to this CSS file. It's pretty easy to understand. So now if I do Control V to paste, Control V, we don't have style sheets. Okay, first we need to add some CSS. So sorry, let's remove that. All right, so let me minimize this. Let's actually make it a bit bigger here. So, and now let's open the server here. I use the live server plugin, which auto reloads when I save something. So now we want to add some CSS. Not CSS, SCSS, Sass. So I'm going to create a file and I'm going to call it main SCSS. Inside this one, I will take the root. You see I have a div with an ID called root. And I'm going to do root and make all the P elements. Okay, so root brackets. Here I can access the children, and I can say this. So access all the P elements inside the root and make them red. If I was writing CSS, I would do this thing here, root P, and then it would be something like that. But now we can nest the elements inside the parent elements. Okay, so you can nest in the paragraph, for example, you can nest this one, an anchor tag, color pink, which means that if I have a p tag here, if I have all my p tags here, paragraph tags, if I have, for example, lorem ipsum, if I have one, this is just auto-generated lorem ipsum. You just like lorem and then you press tab and then it generates this dummy text. So these two paragraphs are going to get this color red when I link this to my compiled CSS. I'm gonna show you. So right now we have two paragraphs, and inside the paragraph, in the second paragraph, we can just write get an a tag, let's write this only. All right. So this is also nested in the p tag. So what's going to happen here? If there is an a in the p tag, it's going to be get the pink color. Now we want to convert this file to CSS because we cannot read a Sass directly. So let's compile this one to main CSS, and then it's gonna load it from here. So now we can do what let's clean the console here, the terminal, and let's take this command. So we're gonna add Sass, this one here. We're gonna add Sass source, not source. It's gonna be main CSS. So take this file and compile it to main CSS. So unauthorized access. Cannot be loaded because running scripts disabled the system. Okay, what is that? Let me see. Probably I need to open Windows Terminal, which I don't like because I usually use Linux, but we will give this a try. We'll write this here, main CSS to main CSS. No, sorry, CSS. Okay, so it didn't give access to the VS Code here. So I'm gonna remove I misspelled the first one. And now we see the CSS file here. So now it created this, we wrote this code here and it converted it to CSS. So now we have linked this one here. I linked it before. So I will load my CSS file like normal, like we usually do. And there we go. You see what happens here. The paragraphs get the red color because of in the paragraphs, these are the styles in the paragraph. It's gonna be color red. We can say text align right. If I save this, okay, now it's smaller. Second, we need to compile it again. That's the problem now. So I need to go again to my terminal and write this again for it to convert this to CSS again and update. So we're gonna use a watcher. Let me see if I can find it here. Watch, maybe. No, watch. No. I'm not sure. Maybe if we write watch. No. I think it's like this. -- watch. Okay. So this is gonna auto-compile every time we save something. -- watch, and then the file, the CSS file, and then the Sass file, and then the CSS, which is converted. So now if I put this again on the left and save, these are going to be auto-saved and auto-compiled. So now we can go ahead and play with Sass. First of all, Sass stands for syntactically awesome style sheet. It's a CSS preprocessor. And yeah, I think that's all you need to know. Like, it's basically, you just write CSS in a much more easier way. Yes, and it's more organized. So you nest stuff, and it's much more organized than writing plain CSS. In most cases, I don't know. It depends on what your project is about, but yeah, I've been using Sass a lot myself, and I think it's very convenient. All right, so here let's create a variable first. So we're gonna say that we have 3 colors. Color, say red. It's like this, red. So we have variables in Sass. We can actually take color palette. I don't like these colors. Red. Let's generate one. Start the generator, and let's go here. That's enough. Let's take this blue moon shell. Okay, so let's call this blue moon shell. Select color, and then just copy that. So, and I think we don't need the quotes. I'm sure about it. And then let's take this polished. Make sure that you add the $sign before, to append it before the actual name of the variable. Polished pine. It's gonna be this one, and then click on this copy here. Yeah, you can add your own color. You don't need to add the same as I do. All right, so I'm gonna close this, and then I'm going to use these variables. So in my color here, I'm just gonna write the name of the variable, which is blue moonshell. So I want to make this text the color blue moonshell. Yeah. So I'm gonna save, and then it becomes this. It gets this color, and the A tag can get the polished pine. And there we go, anchor tag, and then let's add the let's add the break. So we have a break here, and let's add some padding in the tag. 2 a.m., 1 a.m. So border 5 pixels, blue moonshell. Dotted, just to. Okay, that looks terrible. Let's take a solid, and let's take let's take padding 1 a.m. so it becomes more so, and then let's give it a margin of top 50 pixels. 2 a.m. Okay, so now let's take 10 pixels. So. All right, falls inside here. Let's see why it does. So it's because it's inside this p tag. So let's do something else. Let's actually move this outside the a tag. We don't need this here. So, and let's remove the margins. It's so unnecessary to do that. So. All right, so now you see it doesn't work because this A is inside the P tag. So I'm going to remove this outside the inside the root, which is this div here. So it's still not going to work because it's not inside the root. So I need to add it somewhere. So if we don't add it anywhere, so let's say this, it's still gonna work because it's gonna take all the A tags. This is like normal CSS now, so yeah. But you see how the variables work at least. Okay, let's add padding, 5 pixels. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is, let's see how, we have the mixings also. But before we go to the mixings, let's go to another way also. It's you can add fonts also. You can add anything, pretty much anything. You can add strings, nulls, booleans, colors, numbers, and lists. That's what a variable can hold in Sass. But you can also add, for example, standard font. And you can say sans, or let's say Helvetica or something. So, and then you save, and you can give this font family this one, and then it gets this value. So now what we can do is we saw the nesting, we saw this one. Let's actually do a mixing. Mixings are really good. So let's say I have a mixing. Mixing is like a function which you can use everywhere inside the Sass file. Let's say, what we're gonna say? Yeah, I'm out of ideas. Jesus. Okay, let's say notice. Let's call this notice. So we have a notice, and then we're gonna say color. I'm gonna actually red color palette. No, sorry, just terribly googling. Color hex. I'm gonna get the red color. This looks nice for a notice. So I give this a color of FF5252, font size 20 pixels, line, no, not line height, we don't need this, font weight bold, and that's it. And let's give it some padding, also 2 pixels. So now I have this mixing, and I can use it in many places. So now, for example, if I add a text inside, let's close this. Let's add a notice, div class notice. So now I can create the class here. It's called notice, and then I can just add this mixing. Notice. No. Include. So that's how you use a mixing. So you define these mixings, and they're reusable CSS values. Yeah, or how do you say CSS? Okay. So, for example, notice, you can have bold text, you can have standard borders, you can have fonts. Mixing with fonts, you can have anything you like. So you can just write this code here, and then it's going to include all this CSS. So now if I go to notice, I didn't get down there. What? Yes, because we have no text. Notice. So if I add it, you see it gets down here. Let's actually remove a lorem ipsum here because it gets really messy, and I don't like that. Notice, and then we add some margin top, 35 pixels. Let's add the border, red solid, text align center. And then, for example, here we can say center and then write align center. So we can do this one. Sorry, center. So it doesn't work. Text align center. Okay. Just a moment. Ah, yeah, it's because of the quotes. Okay. Remove these quotes here. I thought because it's a string, it doesn't make sense. So how did this work? Yeah, that was a bit weird. Yeah, so remove the font, the quotes. It doesn't work with it. Maybe it works with the double quotes. No, it doesn't. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that's how you use it. And then you create your mixins, and then you just include them, pretty much like a function. And you can also add parameters or arguments here. So for example, I can say color. Like this, and we can give it a dynamic color here. So now if I go down here, I need to give it a color, obviously. So we can say, okay, now I'm gonna say red. Not here, here. So just like a function. So notice, which is a mixing coming from here. And then I give it a color, pass this argument, and then it gets this color here as a value. So exactly like a function. Okay, so now we're gonna go to extend. So if we create, for example, a class of, let's say, border. Let's say border. Let's say border standard. Okay. Okay, everyone is just sending. Sorry for the noise. So, okay, so we have a class of border standard. And we're gonna write inside that border 1 pixel black solid. So, and border radius 50%, and that's enough. So now what extend does, I'm gonna show you, which is if we go here, not this paragraph, we can say extend border standard. And it's gonna extend all this here, these values, properties and values. So you see it gets these classes, but the thing with that is that if we, for example, have a new class and we wanna add some CSS, we can take that, it's gonna include all this CSS here, and then we can write also more than that. So that's how you do it basically. You extend this one here, and then you add the rest of CSS if you need. So it's pretty helpful in long projects. Mixing also, it's they're really helpful. And I think that's enough for today. I don't want to go very deep into that. I'm gonna do more tutorials. These are the really basics that you are going to be using. And also you can also, we can import also stuff. So if we create, for example, a new file here, and we can say colors, CSS, and then we copy paste these colors. So from here, now if I save them, it's not gonna work. So I'm gonna do an import, and then I'm gonna do colors CSS, and then we're gonna import our colors. And yeah, that's pretty much it, how we import the other CSS files, and then it gets compiled. So we learned how to download Sass. We can install it with npm, Choco or Brew, package managers here. And then this is how we build a file from CSS, compile from SCSS to CSS, so our browser can read it. Then we add the, let me open my terminal. If we want to compile this in real time, we add this -- watch, and then the compiling this code here. We learned the variables, but we can create variables that hold values, different values. We learned the mixings, which are similar to functions. We can pass also many arguments. We learned that we can nest stuff inside other stuff. So here I could nest other stuff. I think this is the best feature for everything. So we can do this, and then we can do this, and then we can do this, and then we can do this, you know, and the list goes on. I mean, in long projects, you're going to have many nested elements. So this is a very good way to access them and add dynamic CSS. The nesting, we learned the import, how we can import other files. We learned the include, and this is used to include the mixings. So this one. And yeah, and the extend, of course, which is we have a class and we want to add similar. We want to add some already defined styles to another class, so we can just extend this one, or a class that has similar, already has this value, so we don't need to write the same thing again, and then we can add our own after that. This is pretty much it. I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe, that helps a lot, and see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Goodbye. Bye bye.